Aaliyah made 3 albums before her death. She had 5 top 10 hits and a #1 single. Her self-titled album went straight to #1 after her death in 2001. The following year, the I Care For You album reached 3 on Billboard. Despite a relatively short career, Aaliyah produced a catalogue of hits that should have been enjoyed by future generations. Except there were a few threats to her legacy that many didn't see coming. Aaliyah's uncle, Barry Hankerson, owns her masters and the rights to her music. He was the owner of Black Ground Records, the label that signed artists such as JoJo, Timbaland, Genuine, Toni Braxton, and of course, Aaliyah. Fans have been denied the option of streaming, downloading, and even buying physical copies of Aaliyah's music in the years following her death, and nobody ever quite understood why. It has been 2 decades since her death, and questions still remain. Even the plane that she took that day leaves many with the question, why? Why did she board the plane? But she was said to be eager to get back home. Then the plane was severely overloaded, and the pilot was later found to have had drugs in his system and to be flying without an up-to-date license. But why did they get on the plane if it was overloaded, and initially against the advice of the pilot himself? 9 passengers perished in the crash. A new book released later this month may shed light into Aaliyah's final moments and why she boarded the plane. Aaliyah became one of the most influential artists of all time and made a particular style of R&B popular throughout the 90s and early 2000s. Working with producers such as Timbaland and Static Major, members of Devontae Swing's Basement Crew. Her influence is strong, but her music has been hard to find for 20 years. On the 19th anniversary of her death, when fans demanded answers, Aaliyah's estate took to Twitter to say, quote, "To our loyal fans, we are excited to announce that communication has commenced between the estate and various record labels about the status of Aaliyah's music catalogue, as well as its availability on streaming platforms in the near future. Thank you for your continued love and support. More updates to come." There was even a hoax statement released on a fake account claiming that Aaliyah's music was going to be available on her birthday. More disappointment for fans. In January this year, Aaliyah's family took to Twitter to say, "While we share your sentiments and desire to have Aaliyah's music released, we must acknowledge that these matters are not within our control and unfortunately take time. Our inability to share Aaliyah's music and artistry with the world has been as difficult for us as it has been for all of you. Our priority has always been and will continue to be Aaliyah's music. In the meantime, however, we are working diligently to protect what is in our control, Aaliyah's brand, legacy, and intellectual property. In doing so, we will continue to release unique and exciting projects to keep Aaliyah's legacy and light shining. Undoubtedly, we understand how frustration can lead to anger and disappointment. However, we ask all of you for your continued support and love as we aim to achieve these goals for all of you and our baby girl. We appreciate you." Thankfully, after years of waiting and disappointing fans, it has finally been confirmed that Aaliyah's music will be available for streaming later this month. In fact, the entire discography of Black Ground Records will be available, both in physical and digital formats. This is huge for R&B and huge for Aaliyah's estate. As of 2021, her net worth has been estimated to be $8 million. It would have been a lot more if her music was available. We know many artists go on to make more money dead than they did alive. Barry Hankerson has now partnered with music distribution company Empire. There appeared to be a stalemate in regards to Aaliyah's music. Fans sought answers from both Barry Hankerson and Aaliyah's family. Both parties appeared to blame each other. In an interview with Billboard, Barry revealed that he hasn't been in touch much with his sister, Aaliyah's mother Diana, or his nephew. He said, "Since the death of my niece, I don't have the same relationship I used to have with my sister. We were very close when we grew up. I don't know if anybody can imagine, but when you lose a child or a niece that you really loved, it was difficult for my family. So a lot of things in my family changed. There was a conversation that we had that she didn't want the music out, and whatever my sister told me, I tried to do, whatever she wanted me to do. As a parent, I would understand if she did not want the music out. Because who wants to hear the voice of your daughter who's gone? So when she said that to me, I said, okay, we're not putting it out. I don't know when, but one day we will. We literally packed everything up and went on to something else. So according to Barry, he was honouring the wishes of his sister. Following her death, the existing prints of Aaliyah's albums and singles timed out, and Blackground's distribution deal lapsed. Because of the wishes of the family, he claims, he never sought a new distribution deal, so no more albums were printed. The music was never made available for downloading, and when streaming blew up, Aaliyah's music was left behind. Kind of sad when you think about it. Aaliyah's estate released an official statement via their lawyer refuting Hankerson's claims, saying, "We have always been confused as to why there is such a tenacity in causing more pain, alongside what we already have to cope with for the rest of our lives. Protecting Aaliyah's legacy is and always will be our focus. For 20 years we have battled behind the scenes, enduring shadowy tactics of deception with unauthorized projects targeted to tarnish. Now, in this 20th year, this unscrupulous endeavour to release Aaliyah's music without any transparency or full accounting to the estate compels our hearts to express a word: forgiveness. Although we will continue to defend ourselves and her legacy lawfully and justly, we want to preempt the inevitable attacks on our character by all the individuals who have emerged from the shadows to leech off of Aaliyah's life's work. Ultimately, we desire closure and a modicum of peace, so we can facilitate the growth of Aaliyah's memorial fund and other creative projects that embody Aaliyah's true essence, which is to inspire strength and positivity for people of all creeds, races and cultures around the world." On Friday, August the 5th, Barry Hankerson posted to Blackground Records 2.0's Twitter account, using the hashtag Aaliyah is coming. Various dates of when to expect her music were released, and streaming platforms announced when her songs would be available, starting with 1 in a Million coming to Spotify on August the 20th. However, the estate's attorney, Paul Likowski, said in a statement to the Los Angeles Times that the estate was never made aware that Blackground Records were planning to release Aaliyah's albums for streaming. For 20 years, Blackground has failed to account to the estate with any regularity in accordance to her recording contracts. In addition, the estate was not made aware of the impending release of the catalogue until after the deal was complete and plans were in place. The estate has demanded that Blackground provide a full account of its past earnings and full disclosure of the terms of its new deal to distribute Aaliyah's long embargoed music. So according to Barry, it was Aaliyah's family who didn't want the music out. But it's hard to believe that they wouldn't want her fans, who Aaliyah loved so much, to have access to her music. It appears that they do want her music out and her legacy to continue, just not under Barry's terms. Aaliyah began her career at a very young age. She was 12 when her uncle introduced her to R. Kelly, a decision he probably regrets. Aaliyah broke away from Kelly and began working with other producers and songwriters, mainly Timbaland and Missy Elliott. This was the best decision she could have made for her career and independence. She found her sound as a young woman and her career went from strength to strength. It's great news that her fans will finally have access to her music. Up until now, only her first album was available, but it's unsettling to see that there is a growing dispute between Aaliyah's estate and Barry Hankerson. This may have been the root cause of the problem and why her music was not made available. Keep watching for more information about Aaliyah's final moments and shocking claims recently revealed. Aaliyah died in 2001 after boarding a Cessna 402 aircraft. Reports said that the plane was overloaded and the pilot was reluctant to fly due to the excess weight. Some information came out about the pilot after an investigation. He was found to have drugs in his system and his license had expired. In a recent book out later this month, titled Baby Girl, better known as Aaliyah, author Kathy Iandoli reveals that she went to Abaco to research the events leading up to the crash and came into contact with someone who was there that day. In an interview with Daily Beast, Kathy Iandoli claims that she was contacted by one of Aaliyah's superfans who urged her to talk to a man named Kingsley Russell, who was from Abaco Islands. At the time of Aaliyah's death, he was just 13 years of age and was working as a baggage handler for his family's business. His family were involved in assisting Aaliyah's team with picking locations for the Rock the Boat video shoot and arranging transportation. Kingsley claimed that he witnessed someone carrying Aaliyah when her team was boarding the plane to leave. She was allegedly sleeping, and prior to this, she had been adamant about not boarding the plane. He said the plane was 2 hours late, and when it arrived, Aaliyah expressed her reservations about boarding it. Even Damon Dash, on The Real, said that he told her not to get on the plane. He didn't like the look of it. He was actually with her in Miami before she flew to the Abaco Islands, and he told her not to get on the plane then. Kingsley said that Aaliyah was also complaining about having a headache. He also said her team was arguing with the pilot, who was insisting that the plane was overloaded. In the end, he gave in. He said Aaliyah went to the van to lie down and take a nap, and someone came into the van to give her a pill. Kingsley Russell said that he himself handed Aaliyah a glass of water. She went to sleep, and in the meantime, the pilot agreed to fly the plane. Later, he saw someone carrying her onto the plane, saying, quote, "They took her out of the van. She didn't even know she was getting boarded on a plane. She went on the airplane asleep." Kathy said this information gave her closure, saying, quote, "The only thing I've taken with me is that after 20 years, I can finally say that Aaliyah didn't want to get on the plane. That makes me feel a little better, but not much. This didn't have to happen. She should still be here, and I think that's the saddest part about it. This does not bring closure. In my opinion, it is highly disturbing. Aaliyah's wishes should have been honoured, and she should not have felt pressured. To be carried to her doom, asleep, does not sit well with me. Why not wake her up and check that she was cool about boarding the plane after expressing her reservations? Waking someone up to board a plane is not unreasonable, and there's the people who think perhaps she took a pill to calm her nerves or to sleep. Maybe she preferred to be sleeping and not stressed out on the flight. Either way, she could have easily gone back to her accommodation where the others were and boarded the flight scheduled for the next day. But unfortunately, that was not the case. And it appears all is not what it seems with this story. After this all came out, there was of course a lot of hysteria on social media, but Kathy took to Twitter to set the record straight, and she did an interview with Rolling Stone, stressing that she didn't make any shocking claims of anybody being drugged or taking sleeping pills. She said in the book she simply relays the story that Kingsley Russell told her. She never claimed to know what the pill was or the purpose of giving it to Aaliyah. She said it was in fact media outlets using clickbait titles that sensationalized the story. The Daily Beast headline was said to have misconstrued the new information, leading readers to believe that Aaliyah was drugged and unconscious when carried onto the doomed flight. It is stressed that the author does not declare this as fact, and that she acknowledges other theories. She could have just taken an Advil for her headache, for instance. On Twitter, she said, "I really didn't anticipate them deciding for all of us what the pill was, because I sure as well didn't." Kathy is also the author of God Save the Queens, The Essential History of Women in Hip Hop. She said Aaliyah's story was a natural progression. She discusses everything Aaliyah went through in the early years of her career, saying, quote, "It's just to show how strong and resilient she was." She described Aaliyah as super strong and super endearing. Kathy is also the author of a Little Kim memoir. She said it's her mission to write books celebrating influential women in black music. In the Rolling Stone interview, she was asked to expand upon her tweet. She said, "I've been in the music industry for 22 years, which means I have something like 2 years while Aaliyah was still active. When Aaliyah passed away, we had our own rumours that were being told to us as industry people, not fans of an artist, but just industry rumours that were kind of floating around. We were all kind of told the passing rumour of, well, she was drugged and she was asleep. She was this, she was that. When I was doing my research, I went really wide and then I went really local. So you go to the biggest Hollywood coverage, and then I got the local newspapers in the Albuquerque Islands where Aaliyah spent her last days. I went as far as I could, and then you try to get below the local newspapers, and you try to get to the people who were actually on the ground. One of the people who was researching on the project with me sent me this link to this video that was on YouTube with this young man who put up this diary because he was triggered by Kobe Bryant's helicopter crash. And it triggered what happened to him years ago when he was at the airport with Aaliyah. Do you really think Kathy didn't realise the reaction people were going to have to this new information? Was it really the result of media outlets using clickbait titles? Or do you think it was a clever PR move? After all, it couldn't have hurt the pre-sales of the book. Will you be purchasing the book? I myself have already pre-ordered it. And what do you think the pill was? If it was Advil, why would she need to be carried to the plane soon after taking it? Why didn't they just wake her up and tell her that the flight is about to board? To have to carry someone indicates that they were in a very, very deep sleep. Most people who fell asleep and were being carried would probably wake up. One thing for sure, this just leaves fans with even more questions. Thanks for watching. Share your thoughts below. Like and subscribe for weekly videos, and don't forget to click the bell for more.